Okay, I want to do a board footage problem with you on the back side of your board feet worksheet. So you'll get this back, and then on the back side I want you to copy down this problem. So remember our board feet formula is thickness times width times length, all of that divided by 144. And don't forget that all these numbers have to be in inches. So if it's in feet, you have to convert it. I'm going to write all the numbers in inches, and what we're doing here is a problem very similar to what's on the final exam coming up next week. Instead of just bits and pieces and parts, we will do a cut list based on a table. So I'm going to draw a table here, and I'd like you to attempt to draw this in as well. So basic table is going to have 4 legs to it. Let's see how we can make this turn out. And the problem will be very similar to what we see on the final, just the numbers will be different. Okay, so let's say we have a top, 4 legs, and 4 of these pieces that are known as the apron. Now, if I write it on this piece of paper, I want you to draw it and write it on the back side of your board feet worksheet. And then when you turn this thing in again, you'll get credit for this part as well. And this will be your study guide for the problem that's on the final as well. Okay, so let's write out a cut list here. We've got the top, and let's just say it's 18 inches by 24 inches. And again, I'm not writing the I'm not writing in inches, they're all in inches. I forgot to write that, but this piece is 1 inch thick. Okay, then we have 4 legs. So we have 4 at, and let's just say they're 1.5 by 1.5 by 18 inches. And then we have the apron. And for the apron, we have, they're not the same length, but we have two sizes. And let's say we've got 2 at 3 by 14, also 1 inch thick. And we've also got 2 at 3 by 18, also 1 inch thick. So here's all our pieces. I got 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of wood. Okay, so now we have to do the math to plug them into our formula. For the formula, we multiply thickness times width times length divided by 144. So I just go 1 times 18 times 24. I don't need to multiply times 1 because anything times 1 is itself. So 18 times 24 is 432. So the top, I have 432 divided by 144. Divided by 144 is 3. So that's 3 board feet for the top. And for the legs, I'm going to multiply the thickness, the width, and the length, but I'm also going to multiply times the number of pieces that I have as well, because I've got 4 of them. So it's 4 times 1.5 times 1.5 times 18 is equal to 162. So legs, I have 162 divided by 144 divided by 144 is equal to 1.125. 1.125. Okay, and then the apron. I have 2 at 3 times 14. These are all 1 inch thick as well, so I don't need to worry about that. It's just multiply these 3 numbers together. 2 times 3 times 14 is 84. divided by 144. That'd be 0.583. And then we have 2 times 3 times 18. 2 times 3 times 18 is 108 divided by 144 equals 0.75. So these are all my board feet. I just add those up. Plus 0.583 plus 1.125 plus 3 equals 5.458 board feet. I like to keep it as accurate as possible and not round things off till I get to the end of the problem. Now, the next step I mentioned in the problem on the test is that every project you build, there's always waste material, cracks, knots, extra material that you're not going to use. And so a waste factor would be how much extra do I need? And in this problem, it tells us we're going to use a 30% waste factor, which means I need to take this number and add 30% to it. Now I could multiply times 0.3 and then add it back, but a little shortcut for you, if I multiply this times 1.3, I get the 30% plus the original number. So let's multiply that times 1.3, and we get 7.095. 7.095 board feet with the waste factor. Now we have to figure out how much it costs. Let's say we're using cherry wood and it costs $5 a board foot. So if this is 7 board feet at $5 a board foot, I just multiply these two numbers together. And I get this number times 5 is equal to, now we round it off to the nearest penny, so it'd be $35.48. And so that tells me if I was going to build this table and counting using cherry and this size, I would end up paying $35.48 for the material, approximately. So then you could figure out what it costs. Okay, this is similar to what's on the final. Make sure you write it on your plan, on the back of your board feet worksheet, and then you can work on the measuring of the pieces of wood with the half sheet, this tan sheet here that's out in the shop. There are 6 pieces of wood on the table. You're going to measure thickness, width, and length. You can use a ruler or a tape measure. You write out the material of the part. It says on a piece of tape or a piece of paper that's on the piece of wood what the material is. You would do the math, and of course it's thickness times width length divided by 144 gives you the board feet. Multiply board feet times the cost per board foot, which is also written on the piece of paper or tape on the piece of wood, and then your total cost for each piece of wood. If you add all these up, you have the total cost of all 6 of those pieces of wood. So that's what we're doing today. Make sure this is on the worksheet, and then when that's done, then you're out in the shop measuring and figuring out the board footage and the cost of each of the pieces of wood in the shop.